great 3 points. Did our job today. Perfect bounce back from a disappointing performance against Arsenal. Final score, obviously, Wolves 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0. To be fair, I look at the team selection and I slagged it off, plain and simple. I slagged off the team selection because I thought it just wasn't good enough. I mean, after how incredibly awful Leander Dendoncker was against Arsenal, I was a bit, why are we sticking him in? Padance up front in a 2 doesn't work. And, Roman Saiss just immediately made an automatic starter. Now he's immediately fit in the team when Totti Gomez really hasn't done an awful lot wrong. And Trincao as well dropped, even though, again, he really didn't do an awful lot wrong. That was my thoughts before the game. Obviously, they changed as the game went on. And, look, it's a very, very good performance. Really, really good team performance. The first couple of minutes, it looked as though it was kind of just evenly matched, really. It was kind of a case of, the couple of times we got forward before the goal, we looked like causing problems. They looked very, very shaky defensively. They didn't look like they had any idea. They looked like they didn't really have any identity as to what they were going to do defensively. And what we done was the perfect thing, which was we took advantage. And for the first time in a very long time, we had chances and we took advantage of them. I mean, our first goal, Neves, I thought he should have shot a little bit sooner than what he did. Good little passage of play. Neves has given the whole of Tottenham to have a shot, really. And it's a good opportunity. You got to question the goalie. Second one, again, Lloris was awful. He had 2 clangers today, and I'll tell you what, it is quite funny. Dendoncker's shot was just poor. That was so bad. And then Jimenez, superb finish from Raul. We've waited months for that type of goal from Raul Jimenez. We've waited for a performance like that from Raul for God knows how long. Just thank God he put it in the back of the net, to be honest with you. And that's literally just Raul Jimenez in a nutshell. When he doesn't score goals, he plays normally like that. And if he wouldn't have scored today, then most people would be saying it's a really poor performance from Raul. But because he got his goal, and to be fair, his overall play actually looked a hell of a lot better. He looked like he was linking up the play. Absolutely annoying, though, that he missed the opportunity to make it 3-0. But again, that's just Raul Jimenez, and he's just so inconsistent. And yeah, we've waited months for that. Second one, we just don't give up on it. It all comes from a Spurs mistake again. And what we've done really well in the first half is we pressed them. We pressed them really, really well. I thought Kundal, Neves and Dendoncker, they all had really good games today. Especially Neves winning everything in that midfield area. Kundal really didn't put a foot wrong. He didn't necessarily, shine, if you know what I mean. He wasn't the player that you can say, oh yeah, he made an absolute massive impact. But he didn't put a foot wrong. And he was overall really, really solid. Dendoncker, who's had a lot of critics. Myself, I'm still a critic of Dendoncker. I don't think one game changes my views on him. I still don't think he's a good footballer. And he still weakens our midfield. Today he had a very, very good game and he took his goal very, very well. He just doesn't give up on it after what the opportunity was beforehand. And I think it was a decent opportunity from Padance and good little finish in there. But look, we managed the game after that and it's a really, really good 3 points. There's no dispute in that. And if you would have said to us at the start of the season we're going to be 3 points away from being in a position where we could potentially be, 3 points from the top 4, I'd have laughed. I just would have laughed. The fact we're now in this position with a game in hand, to be honest with you, I'd rather have the points now. And I don't think it's fair to obviously give the expectation of, we need to get Europe. That is an if, that is that is no if, buts or maybes. For me, this season was all about a case of rebuild from what was an absolute shit show last season towards this season where there's signs that there's going to be improvement. There's only signs that it can get better. But then also as well, there's signs that, the board don't really want to back Bruno Lage. Because I haven't done, obviously, one of these since, the end of the transfer window. And I still think it's an absolute disgrace, the position that Fosun left us in. I mean, Bruno Lage has put himself in quite a unique position where every time we win a game, Bruno Lage is a genius. Bruno Lage is performing absolute wonders with the squad that he's given. When we lose a game, it's not Bruno Lage's fault. It's Fosun's fault because they didn't leave us a good enough squad. Bruno Lage is with the way that he's gone out in the press and the way he's been quite open about everything, he's actually kind of left himself immune to criticism, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. And it's the fact that we got rid of Adama, we did not buy a set replacement. We essentially bought Triquinho for 3 million and we didn't put any money into the football club. It's an absolute joke and it is an absolute farce, really. It's the fact that we also took out the Jota loan, so that money's in the football club. We still didn't spend a penny, really. We was more interested in giving Grasshoppers players, and to be completely honest with you, it's an absolute disgrace what Fosun have done. But like I said, I just think that, you know, if they would have backed him, we potentially could be in a better position than what we are now, which is the more frustrating part for me. But like I said, it's 3 points today. We build on to the next game against Leicester, which is always a tough game because they're going to have VAR on their side. And yeah, we've just got to see what we can do for the next match, really. And I think, to be fair, we done the perfect response. We got a bounce back after what was poor on Thursday. Anyway, thanks for having me on Talking Wolves. And yeah, I'll catch you all in a bit, lads. Cheers, guys.
Well, I said in my previous fan react that it wasn't season over just yet, and that is why Wolves beating Spurs by 2-0 and pretty much proving that this team is full of surprises. I'm pleasantly surprised today with the performance. I think it's one of those where it's kind of typical Wolves. We have a stinker or a poor performance against Arsenal and then come back and turn in a fantastic game like that. Clean sheet, 2 goals, helped with a bit of defensive lapses in concentration by Spurs, but overall, so happy with today's game. Really not too much to complain about. I thought that the lineup was a pleasant surprise and really good to see Luke Cundle get his first start in the Premier League. Of course, Fosun have expressed their desire to have a strong academy set up, and he slotted in seamlessly today. So if Totti Gomez and Luke Cundle are anything to go by, maybe this young player scheme is going to work for us. And I thought he was excellent, really calm in possession, very intelligent footballer. He was picking out the right passes. Should have got an assist as well. I thought he was very unlucky not to get an assist, playing the ball through to Raul, who of course had his shot saved. But I thought he was tidy, very tidy, didn't put a foot wrong, and complemented the midfield very well. I thought the midfield three were actually excellent, and I thought Leander Dendoncker today, I know, drum roll please, was actually very good. I never thought I would say that, but here we are. This team always manages to surprise us in many different ways. I thought he was really solid, pressed well, worked hard, got the ball back, and it got us moving a lot quicker as well, and looked a lot sharper. There was a couple of times where he was under pressure in the penalty area, and he made some really nice turns to get the ball out of his feet. So good to see him get some confidence back into his performances. That's the sort of Leander Dendoncker we saw in the first season and a half at Wolves. Ruben Neves, I thought, again, excellent today. Those raking passes, keeping the tempo going when we needed it to be, superb. Back three, again, imperious. Really, all three of them were excellent. I thought Saïss has slotted back in really well. Obviously, he has been playing for Morocco, so he hasn't really lost that momentum in terms of playing games, but he was really good. Connor Cody, again, commanding performance. But I think the plaudits have to go to Max Kilman, because he was absolutely incredible again today. What a talent this guy is, and has to surely get into the England setup now. So good on the ball, so good in the air. He's really improved in his success rate with his aerial duels. He's winning a lot more headers now. Brilliant physical presence to have there, and good technically as well. A couple of moments where he wins the ball back brilliantly, or shields the ball, turns and drives into midfield, gets a pass off or wins a free kick, and it alleviates so much pressure from the defence. He was absolutely brilliant today. José Sá as well, solid performance from him. A few hairy moments, especially towards the end, where he sort of just let the ball bounce off his chest instead of catching it, but not too many complaints with him. He made a really good save from that Romero header towards the end. And again, fullbacks, really good to see Aït-Nouri back in the side. I thought him and Semedo yet again showed why they are so important to this team and why we use the wing-backs so often. I thought they offered a lot of energy up and down the pitch. I thought they were solid defensively. I don't think it was a perfect performance defensively from them, but offensively I thought they were good, particularly in the first half. Obviously the second half we sat back a lot more and invited on pressure, so they didn't get as much of a chance to be outlets for that attacking phase of play. But I just thought we were so much quicker on the ball today. I thought the Arsenal game we were too slow, the crosses was too tepid. I thought that we were very lacklustre, but here we were quick, we were dynamic, we were cohesive, we were playing on the front foot. And we got into the half-time thinking, well, it really could have been 3-4-0. We had some really good chances to seal this game. And yeah, impressed. Great to see Hwang come on as well for a few minutes. Obviously, it's nice to see Johnny warming up. We're getting those players back from injury now. Pedro Neto back in training. So we could have a really decent squad. Two really decent bits of play, though, for the goals. Despite them being Spurs mistakes, I think we did well to actually react on those. I think that was our complaint. Well, that was my main complaint with the Arsenal game, was a lack of anticipation and a lack of gambling on mistakes. And we did that today. Lloris definitely helped us out, but I thought Jimenez's goal was absolutely brilliant finishing. And for a striker that's been very hit and miss this season, it was really good to see him on the score sheet again. Up to 5 goals now, I think, this season. So he's just starting to get back into his rhythm, and considering how long he had out and the severity of his injury, I think I'm impressed with that. And then, of course, Dendoncker pouncing on a poor mistake from the Spurs defence as well. So good bit of anticipation from them. But overall, yeah, superb performance. No real complaints. Refereeing again was a little bit suspect as usual. But top 4 is still on.
So, Tottenham 0, Wolves 2. What a performance, what a win for Wolves today at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. A fantastic defensive display along with some dodgy goalkeeping from Spurs gifted Wolves a 2-0 win. You could probably say they deserved it because of how resolutely and how well they defended, which we know they're so capable of. The area we've lacked in is scoring goals recently, and we were given a massive helping hand by Hugo Lloris for the first goal for Wolves today. Jimenez, a fantastic finish by him, right into the top corner, chest down and volley. A really good finish by him. It's been something they've not come to expect over the last few weeks, but hopefully he can get back into a bit of good form, because that was a strike of a striker who's really been scoring 20 goals a season, which is what he normally is, a 20-goal-a-season striker. And the second goal, a man who I've criticised so much myself, and I'm sure so many Wolves fans have as well, Leander Dendoncker, just managed to capitalise on the Tottenham error, make it 2-0 to Wolves, and he had a really good game, I thought, today. Dendoncker, you could arguably say, was one of Wolves' best players on the pitch, one of the best players on the pitch, because Tottenham were pretty hopeless in the end. But he just managed to bundle the ball in for 2-0, and, well, Wolves were really comfortable, I think, throughout the game. A couple of hairy moments in the second half, but overall they defended really well. I thought the subs, Trincao, Fabio Silva, Hwang Hee-Chang, all did really well when they came on to hold up the ball up top. And, of course, the surprise inclusion today in the starting lineup, Luke Cundle. I'm not sure how fans expected him to go today, but, of course, it's been well documented that Lage really likes him, and I thought he was really solid in midfield today. He didn't do anything wrong, and for someone that young coming in as Spurs away in your first game, it's quite a daunting task, but he made it look effortless in there today. He was really good, I thought, himself in that middle of the park. Just moved the ball, did well, was tenacious in his tackles. Could have had an assist for Al Jimenez in the second half to make it 3-0. Would have made it a bit more comfortable for Wolves, but he just couldn't put that one away. But I thought it was a really assured performance by him. The same for Semedo, Aït-Nouri. Thought they were both really good again defensively. Nelson Semedo this season, just a quick note on him. It's been really good. Like, the improvement is so much from last year. You can really notice a change in the player, because I think he's got so much better. If we could just get a little bit more going forward out of him, we'd have a really good right back on our hands. Max Kilman, probably my man of the match today, was absolutely brilliant. He had Harry Kane, Son, Lucas Moura, Kulusevski all in his pocket. He was absolutely superb, defending back there, blocks, tackles, the works. His distribution was really good as well. He was driving out with the ball at his feet and played a couple of nice passes as well, especially in the second half when Wolves were coming under a bit of pressure. I thought he was brilliant. Cody was good. Saiss was a bit hairy in the first half. He just looked a little bit off the pace, but he soon came into it in the second half. Sal with a couple of dodgy moments, but nothing to really write home about. He was good in goal again for Wolves today, and it's another clean sheet for them. The second best defence in the league this season. Wolves have just gone from strength to strength in that area. It's a bad defeat for Spurs, but of course we're absolutely delighted with that. We go above them now, and Wolves hopefully can maybe push for Europe now again. I'm still not 100% convinced myself, even though I'm really hoping that they can, because if they can perform like they did today, especially the first 20 minutes, they had sustained attacks as well for a bit of the first half as well, which is something we've not really come to see from Wolves in the last few weeks. But two really, well,
Well, you could say fortunate goals, but you could say that we also really deserved to win the game with how well Wolves defended in this match today at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But apart from that, really, not much else to report. Wolves were just fantastic defensively, and long may that continue. Bruno Lage has been an absolute revelation in getting this defence to be so good and so solid this season. But it was really a fantastic performance by Wolves, and hopefully now they can maybe use this as a platform to build off big games coming up against West Ham, against Leicester. You got to be looking to beat these teams. To Arsenal as well away, hopefully hit back at them a little bit. But Man United, Tottenham, both really fallen in this last week, both been poor. Probably said it on Thursday that they won't get anywhere near Arsenal, probably looking like the favourites to get into the top four now, but I really hope Wolves can go to the Emirates and give them a good game in a week and a bit's time. Up next, Leicester next Sunday. It's a big game, but if Wolves play anywhere near the quality of defending they had today and they manage to nick a goal, you could hopefully expect to win that against an out-of-form Leicester team, but it'll be still a really tough game nonetheless. But a fantastic performance today. Tottenham 0, Wolves 2. What a win.